Every year on the 4th of July, our nation celebrates. You'll find families having picnics in the park and barbecues. As many of you have many great memories of that day. Thinking back to my childhood home in La Puente, climbing up on the roof, sitting there and watching the fireworks burst against the navy blue sky, to the day that I asked the beautiful young lady sitting right here in front of me to be my girlfriend. The beginning of what would become a relationship and a marriage that has some celebrating of our own. Yes, the 4th of July is significant to all of us for many different reasons. Of course, it began back on July 4th, 1776, when our nation's forefathers signed a document that stated, when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one group of people to dissolve the political bands which have connected it to another, with decent respect to the opinions of humankind, it becomes necessary that they declare their reasons for that separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. With those iconic words, our forefathers began a new nation. It would be a nation founded upon freedom. Freedom from religious prosecution, freedom of speech, freedom to attain wealth, and freedom for individuals to decide how their wealth is distributed. With those words, our nation's forefathers declared that no longer would they be subject to the taxes that England demanded upon them. But I'd like to draw your attention to another date. July 5th, 1776. Do you know what happened on July 5th, 1776? It was a Friday. And on that Friday, the soldiers of the Continental Army did exactly what they had done the Friday before. Those brave young men picked up their weapons and marched out onto the field of battle. On July 5th, 1776, bullets would fly across the Hudson River. Generals would shout commands of war to soldiers in desperate need of direction. One young man would look down as he ran across the fields of Saratoga and find his brother in arms, wounded on the floor. And he would reach down and pick up that soldier and strap him across his own shoulders to carry him to safety. Yes, on that day, in 1976, battles were fought. Soldiers were shot. And in fact, some would die that day. For although our nation had declared its independence, the enemy, the British Army, did not simply pack up their bags and run to their ships to set sail across the sea to Britain. No, we declared independence, but our enemy was still in full battle mode. In fact, if we rightly reflect upon the Declaration of Independence, it might better be served to call it a declaration of a resolution to fight. Because the fight would rage on. It would rage on until November 25th, 1983, 7.5 years after the original signing, that we finally had our freedom. So what good was the Declaration of Independence if British boots still occupied this land for 7.5 years? What good was it? Well, it was the power of those words that inspired those soldiers to continue to fight, though they saw their nation ravaged, though their brother in arms would die. It was the power of that declaration that inspired them to continue on. And it is the power of those words that today inspire men and women across the globe to fight for our freedom today. It is the power of those words that inspire a young man from the wrong side of town who grew up in a broken home with every excuse to fail to stand before you today and ask you, what will your declaration be? Where is it that you need to sever some bands that have tied you to someone else? Where is it that you can make a declaration to change the future of your family? What words can you speak to make a difference in your life? As members of an organization such as Toastmasters, we value the power of words and their ability to communicate to others. But I ask, what is it that you communicate to yourself? Because I know the power of words. Each morning, when I come into my office, I make a declaration to myself. It says, I am a child of God. He thinks well of me. I have what it takes to overcome. I am an entrepreneur, and I will succeed. That's my declaration. I ask you, what is your declaration of independence today?